What if everything you believe about happiness is wrong? Imagine a man much like the philosophers of old who spends his life pondering not wealth or fame, but the nature of happiness and meaning. In quiet solitude he sits, like Socrates in the Agora, asking whether meaning is something to be discovered, or something we must create for ourselves. He dreams of fulfillment, echoing Aristotle's belief that happiness, eudaimonia, is the highest human good. Yet, the answer to his longing always seems just beyond reach, as if hidden by the shadows of doubt. He turns to books, ancient texts and modern treatises, seeking wisdom in the words of Socrates, Aristotle and the existentialists, hoping that knowledge will illuminate the path to lasting joy. He listens to those who claim to have found peace, teachers, sages and philosophers, yearning for a formula that will quiet the questions echoing in his mind, as Socrates once questioned the whys of Athens. He changes his surroundings, believing that a new city or a new pursuit might spark transformation. Each move is a silent hope, like the existentialist's leap, that meaning can be found in new beginnings, but the sense of purpose remains elusive, slipping through his fingers like water, reminding him of the existentialist's struggle with the absurd. He acquires new possessions, momentarily soothed by the promise of satisfaction, only to find the emptiness returns, unchanged, as the Stoics warned against seeking happiness in externals. No matter what he does, a quiet restlessness lingers, a shadow that follows him, whispering that something essential is missing, as if echoing the existentialist's search for authentic existence. Moments of joy appear like brief flashes of light. Plato's forms glimpsed in the cave, only to fade, leaving him once again in the gentle darkness of uncertainty. In their wake, he feels a hollow ache, a quiet emptiness that no praise or achievement can truly fill, a question that even the greatest minds have wrestled with. He is like a traveler arriving at new destinations, heart full of hope, eyes searching for meaning in unfamiliar places, mirroring the philosopher's journey through the unknown. Yet each time he unpacks the same empty suitcase, realizing, as many philosophers have, that fulfillment cannot be found in the external world alone. This is not just his story, it is the story of all of us. Across centuries, we are united by the search for meaning, by the questions that linger in the quiet moments of our lives. In a world that often feels overwhelming, we share the longing to understand our place and purpose, echoing the questions of Socrates. How should one live? From childhood we are taught that happiness is the highest goal, the summit we must reach to be complete. Yet philosophers remind us to question what happiness truly means. We chase milestones, believing that each achievement will bring us closer to contentment, but the wise urge us to look within for lasting fulfillment. But this vision is an illusion, a simplification of a feeling as complex and shifting as the human soul, as debated by philosophers from Plato to Camus. We find ourselves chasing a mirage, always just out of reach, always promising fulfillment but never quite delivering. Like Sisyphus eternally pushing his stone. Like children chasing butterflies, we exhaust ourselves in pursuit of a feeling that resists capture, never asking if the chase itself is the answer. Happiness, like the butterfly, is meant to be free, thriving in openness, not in our attempts to possess it, as philosophers have long observed. There is nothing wrong with longing for joy. The trouble lies in how we define it, and the ways we seek to make it ours. Questions that have shaped philosophy for millennia. We follow paths that promise contentment, often unaware that our strategies may lead us further from what we truly desire, an ancient paradox. We confuse pleasure with happiness, mistaking fleeting moments for something deeper and more enduring, as Aristotle warned. We chase excitement, believing it to be peace, and mistake the rush of sensation for the quiet of true contentment, an error as old as philosophy itself. We hope that the perfect moment will bring lasting joy, but find that it slips away as quickly as it came, reminding us to seek meaning, not just moments. We imagine that flawless circumstances will deliver happiness, as if life could ever be free of struggle or doubt, yet philosophy teaches us otherwise. But our inner worlds are intricate, woven from memories, hopes, fears, and beliefs, a tapestry more complex than any single feeling, as philosophers have long explored. We say we want happiness, but our actions reveal deeper currents, unspoken priorities and silent longings, the true subjects of philosophical inquiry. Sometimes we act against our own desires, guided by forces we barely understand, reminding us of the Socratic call to know thyself. To unravel this paradox, we must look beneath the surface, beyond the glittering promise of happiness, and ask the questions that matter. We must question what we truly value, and what beliefs quietly shape our choices. just as the philosophers have done for centuries. In the end, the search for happiness is a search for understanding of ourselves, our place in the world, and what it means to live a life of meaning. The greatest philosophers remind us the questions may matter more than the answers. Throughout history, philosophers have debated whether our deepest drive is happiness or something quieter like safety and tranquility. Epicurus, for example, taught that true happiness is found in peace of mind and freedom from fear, a kind of safety from life's storms. Yet to some, safety sounds dull, a walled garden that keeps out both pain and possibility. But this longing for shelter quietly shapes our lives, guiding choices we barely notice. Our minds, shaped by evolution, are built to seek safety first, preferring the known over the unknown, comfort over risk. Even today, we instinctively favor routine and stability, building walls against uncertainty. But Nietzsche challenged this comfort, urging us to embrace risk and the unknown as the path to growth. He believed that true fulfillment comes not from safety, but from facing challenges and transcending our limits. Across cultures, some traditions value the guarantee of avoiding pain over the possibility of joy, while others celebrate the courage to step into the unknown. The cautious guardian within us whispers warnings, and often we listen, choosing the comfort of shelter over the adventure of the open road. We choose safety, not out of laziness but because we crave security, a universal longing that shapes the human story. Yet, the question remains, does the pursuit of safety enrich our lives or quietly limit what we might become? Each day we stand at a crossroads, torn between the comfort of the familiar and the challenge of growth. The Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, taught that true fulfillment lies not in ease, but in the courage to choose what is right over what is easy. We often choose the security of routine, trading the unknown for the predictable. But as Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In relationships, in work, and in leisure, we face the philosophical dilemma. Do we seek comfort, or do we risk discomfort for authenticity and growth? The existentialists remind us, authenticity demands vulnerability. To live fully, we must sometimes step beyond the safe boundaries of habit and embrace the uncertainty of change. Each choice is a philosophical bargain between the ease of routine and the possibility of transformation. Sometimes, safety is what we need to heal and gather strength. But if we always choose comfort, do we risk losing the richness of experience that makes life meaningful? The cost of constant safety is a muted existence, secure, but distant from the vibrant heights of joy and the depths of meaning. So we must ask ourselves, are we living authentically, or simply avoiding discomfort? What is the true cost of our routines? The answers we find shape not only our days, but the very meaning of our lives. Throughout history, philosophers have grappled with the nature of fear. At the heart of our longing for safety lies a force that shapes our choices and defines the boundaries of our lives. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from our attachments and aversions. Fear is the mind's attempt to avoid pain and uncertainty. Kierkegaard described anxiety as the dizziness of freedom, the unsettling awareness of possibility, and the fear that comes with it. Fear of loss, of failure, of judgment, these are universal. They act as invisible cages, limiting our horizons and keeping us within the comfort of the known. Yet philosophers remind us that fear is also a teacher. It reveals what we value, and invites us to examine the stories we tell ourselves about danger and possibility. Buddhist wisdom suggests that by observing fear without clinging or resistance, we can loosen its grip and find freedom in acceptance. Kierkegaard urged us to face anxiety directly, to use it as a gateway to self-discovery and authentic living. When we confront fear with awareness, its power fades. We become capable of growth, transformation, and a deeper sense of meaning. The wisdom of the ages is clear. Fear is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a shadow to be understood. In that understanding, we find the courage to live fully. Wisdom begins with self-awareness, a virtue praised by philosophers across centuries. Socrates taught that the unexamined life is not worth living. To know ourselves is the first step toward wisdom. Confucius spoke of self-cultivation, refining our character through reflection and honest effort. In quiet moments with a journal or before a mirror, we can ask, what truly matters to me? Am I living in harmony with my values? Self-reflection is not always easy. It requires courage to face our fears and honesty to see our flaws. But through this process, we grow wiser, learning to choose not just what is safe, but what is right. True fulfillment comes from living in accordance with our deepest values, not from chasing fleeting happiness. Each day is an opportunity to examine our choices, to cultivate wisdom, and to walk our own philosophical path. The journey is lifelong, but in seeking self-understanding, we find meaning and perhaps a quiet kind of joy.